Storm Tracker 6, this is a weather alert.
Good evening once again. Meteorologist David Young. Tornado warning has been issued for eastern sections of Ingham County. This issued just a few seconds ago by the National Weather Service. This tornado warning is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. We'll zoom in here just a bit and show you some of the areas that are in this warning. There you can see Weberville, one of the areas affected. And then as you look at Williamston, just barely in that tornado warning, Weberville in the tornado warning as well, and along 96. Rotation-wise, it is right over the, just south of Williamston. It's right over the highway where we've got some pretty intense rotation now showing up. So this indeed could be producing a tornado. This storm just spun up in about the past 15 minutes or so, because you look at over the past hour. Let me shorten this to the last 15 minutes or so, and we'll put that in motion. You can see how it was traveling right along I-96, right over the Williamston area, and it is headed directly towards the city of Weberville. If you live in Weberville, you want to seek shelter immediately in your safe place and remain there until this storm passes. This storm has had a history of rotation, has had a history of producing damaging winds, so we want to take this very, very seriously. It's embedded within this line of storms, so you're not going to be able to see this coming. You can't go out on your porch and look west and find this. It is wrapped up inside this area of rainfall. So for those in Weberville, perhaps even Fowlerville, don't take any chances. Go ahead and get to your safe area immediately. Here are some tornado safety tips for you. If you are in the path of this tornado, pretty simple. You just want substantial structure between you and the outside. So those outside places like your garage, bedroom, kitchen, living room there, not safe. You're going to be better off in a hallway, under some stairs or on some stairs, or perhaps in your bathroom. Get in the bathtub and cover yourself, because flying debris is what kills folks. It's not the actual winds themselves. So you're trying to avoid things flying around from the outside. We'll go back to Live Storm Tracker 6 Doppler radar, and there again is our line of storms as it continues to move through with not only a tornado warning, but also destructive winds possible, as this activity now is pushing into southern sections of Eaton County, Ingham County, heading into Jackson County, winds potentially gusting as high as 80 miles per hour. But this obviously is what we're watching as it makes its way in, this intense area of rotation. Let me explain to you what we're looking at. I'm going to click on one of these blue dots and get a wind measurement. That's 86 miles per hour in one direction, moving away from the radar site. And then in this area, moving towards the radar site, we've got winds of 43 miles per hour. So you add those two up, and you've got kind of a broad 120 to 130 mile per hour rotation that is obviously strong enough, well strong enough to potentially produce a tornado. This is our debris tracker, so the radar is likely seeing debris being lofted into the atmosphere along 96 heading into Weberville. If you live in the Weberville area, please take this storm very, very seriously, because it has a definitive signature of damage being tossed up. So I would hesitate to guess that this is not just a Doppler indicated tornado, but there is likely one on the ground.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, this has certainly been a destructive evening across mid-Michigan, with numerous reports of severe weather, down trees, power lines, all because of this line of storms. The good news is it's moving out of the mid-Michigan area, so we are in the clear for the remainder of the overnight hours. Just a few severe thunderstorm warnings, and all of those out of the TV6 viewing area. The watch now has been canceled for all but Washtenaw and Lenawee counties in the TV6 viewing area, but those will be canceled as well very, very soon. But it was already too late. The damage has been done. We're watching lots of reports of severe weather coming in this afternoon. Out of Williamston, a roof collapse of a building, possible tornado. Cars and trucks flipped, semis flipped on 96 near Williamston, again because of the high winds from a possible tornado. Wind gust at the airport in Lansing was 71 miles per hour. The end result, just unbelievable. This is the percentage in each county of how many total customers are in the dark. So out of the total customers, 68% in Eaton County are in the dark tonight, 45% in Ingham County, 41% in Jackson County. You see how the numbers are a little better to our south and east. So it was right across central sections of mid-Michigan. Social tracker obviously very active this afternoon as well. Lots of reports of damage coming in. This is from Robert Campbell, and this was at Delta River Drive in and Eaton Highway. Some trees and limbs down doing some damage. Another shot of a large limb and tree coming down. Didn't get a location on this. This is from Alexander as the storms are rolling through, and I have a lot more pics coming up to show you a little bit later. So we'll watch the storms as they move out tonight. Again, lots of cleanup going to be taking place across all of mid-Michigan tonight to tomorrow from wind gusts between 70 and 80 miles per hour. Our coverage of tonight's storms begins right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 11.
Well, as you just heard our chief meteorologist David Young say, destructive winds, rain, and even a reported tornado battered mid-Michigan tonight, leaving behind major storm damage and massive power outages. The weather is our top story tonight at 11. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Siobhan Klepfer. As David said, the worst of the weather has passed for mid-Michigan. For some, that means cleanup has just begun. For others, they will need to wait for the sun to come up or the power to come back to assess the damage.
That's right. More than 200,000 utility customers are in the dark right now across the region, from Grand Rapids through Lansing past Jackson.
We were on the air warning people of that possible tornado heading to the Weberville area near I-96 as that rotation was happening.
And that's where we find Josh Sanchez. He's joining us now live right now from some of the damage that's resulted from this powerful storm. Josh, tell us where you are exactly and what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, Sherry, Siobhan, I am on Williamston Road near the exit off-ramp on I-96 eastbound. Now, behind me, you can see those fire crews are restricting traffic to flow through on Williamston Road. And take a look further down here. You know, you can see all this traffic being diverted off because back on the highway, you can see that traffic down there is at a crawl. You know, a few minutes ago, we saw them slowly moving through, and now they seem to be at a dead stop there. Now, there's also heavy police and fire EMS presence at Haven of Rest Retirement Home, which is here on this street as well. And there's been a heavy traffic on 96 eastbound, and when we got on the road after the first major band of storms went through, we could see just the sky being lit up by all this lightning, and it was just, while there was traffic lights out at the intersections near Okemos, when we drove through there, we could still see the road because of all that lightning. Now, as we moved into Mason, we found multiple tree branches were down on Halt Road. Now, as we heard, you know, there's multiple reports of damages coming in from around the mid-Michigan area, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. So be sure to stick with us both on air and online for the latest. Here for you in Williamston, Josh Sanchez, 6 News.
Welcome back to 6 News at 11 as we bring you the very latest on the aftermath of the severe storm that rolled through mid-Michigan tonight. We have gotten numerous reports of trees down across the area.
That's right, and one of them toppled tonight near downtown Grand Ledge. Take a look.
This video came from a 6 News viewer. This large tree limb went down around 9:30 tonight across West Jefferson Street between Maple and Spring Streets.
Now the power is out in that area, and cars, you can see they're driving through, had to actually come to a complete stop once they finally noticed that large branch was blocking the road. We're going to check in right now with our Josh Sanchez.
Yes, he is out in the field right now near Weberville, where a possible tornado touched down earlier tonight. Joining us live from the scene with a look at some damage. Josh, where are you exactly and what are you seeing tonight?
Right. Yeah, Sherry, Siobhan, I'm about less than half a mile from the off-ramp for 96 eastbound and Williamston Road, and you can already see that there's a lot of damage here along Williamston Road. This is actually a piece of a shingle coming in from Haven at Rest, a retirement home, which is behind me over my shoulder over there. You can see that on the white facade on the top part of the building, that you can see like the plywood that is under all that siding that is gone right now. And in front of all of that, there is torn branches, torn limbs. There's all these tree pieces are literally the front part of the retirement home there. You can see a lot of emergency crews are attending to the folks that reside in that building there. We've seen emergency crews from around the county around here just helping out with the folks over here too. And you know, going back to that long line of traffic that's moving down towards that off-ramp, as they move up closer there, all these drivers are going to see that there's fire crews out there that are kind of managing traffic through Williamston Road as well as on the off-ramps to go to 96 eastbound. Now earlier, just about 5 minutes earlier on the eastbound roadway, you can see it was at a standstill of traffic there. So there's definitely a lot of damage that crews are working on right now. They're taking care of folks that are out here at this retirement community. So stick with 6 News as we give you the latest both on air and online. Here for you in Williamston, Josh Sanchez, 6 News.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News this morning.
Good morning, Mid-Michigan, and thanks for joining us. And we're here for you now with this morning's top stories. It is currently August 25th, and Jorma has the morning off. Now, much of Mid-Michigan is in the dark cleaning up this morning, and that's after a huge storm swept through the area last night. The thunder, lightning, and 80-mile-an-hour winds weren't even the worst of it. The Lansing Police Department is actually confirming one Lansing resident has died. And that's where we find Ray Sherman. She's joining us now live with the start of our team coverage. Ray, what can you tell us?
Yes, good morning, Kira. That is right. The Lansing Police Department did confirm one person has died due to a tree collapsing on the building right behind me on the 1600 block of Martin Street. Now, this is one of the debris that we see, but this is not as big as the tree behind us. My photographer will zoom up on the house, on the tree damage, on what is going on behind me. Now, when we arrived, the Lansing Fire Department was on the scene. When we showed up this morning, they confirmed they rescued one resident that was taken to Sparrow Hospital, and it's now confirmed that that was the person that was deceased. Now, the back of the house is still intact, so it is just the front that did collapse, but it was obviously deadly. Now, there probably will be more coverages to be had as far as the storm damage is concerned, and Katie will keep you updated on the weather today. Here for now in Lansing, Ray Sherman, 6 News.
All right, Ray, we appreciate it. And over in Holt, last night's destruction in the storm did more than just bring down tree limbs. 6 News anchor Siobhan Klepfer was in Holt earlier last night and shows us that damage.
Good morning. I'm on the 2400 block of Eifert Road in Holt right now, where it wasn't just a tree limb that fell last night in the destructive storm. It was an entire tree, and a very large one at that. You can see the scale of it by me standing right here. To give you an idea, and I know it's dark, this tree is taller than a house on its side. And our crew was on the way to another location where we heard about some damage from the storm when we came across this, and obviously now we're going to have to find a different route around.
This is pretty stunning. It's a huge monster tree, and it came down when all the rain and the wind was blowing really hard. I heard a thud, but I wasn't sure, and I looked out, and I wasn't going to come out at that time.
While we were on the scene, we saw an ambulance come up on the other side of this tree, also, of course, forced to turn around because it is blocking both lanes of traffic right now. And this will take a while to get this tree moved. But a good reminder to drivers this morning, give yourself some extra time before you head out on the road, because you never know what you're going to come across after the storm last night. If you were awake last night during the height of the storm, it was impossible for you to miss the lightning show taking place. Close to 4,000 lightning strikes every 15 minutes. We're talking around 9-10 p.m. last night. Unfortunately, this home in Holt was hit by lightning, and a fire started because of it. That's according to Ingham County Emergency Management. I am on the corner of Witherspoon Way and Runnymede Drive. Some debris on the ground. And if you're looking all the way up to the top, you can see where that strike happened, where the fire was contained. No word this morning on the extent of the damage, but a good reminder this morning that just because you're at home and you're watching the storm from the comfort of your home inside where you're trying to be safe, doesn't mean that you should be letting your guard down, and you should still be paying attention. Here for you in Holt, Siobhan Klepfer, 6 News.
And the destruction doesn't stop there. Meanwhile, over in Eaton County, the storm damage was so severe that officials declared a local state of emergency. They're asking people to stay off the roads if possible and to be very careful if you do go out. 6 News meteorologist Kendall Wilson was in Eaton County earlier and shows us the aftermath.
Well, it was a pretty wild and rough night of severe weather that we saw across mid-Michigan. I am here in Eaton County, specifically in the city of Dimondale, which only saw severe thunderstorm warnings, but some pretty significant wind gusts embedded within that severe thunderstorm. You can see the kind of damage that the winds from that thunderstorm actually caused. At a certain point in time, we had radar estimated wind speeds of above 100 miles per hour. And of course, you can see the kind of damage that those wind speeds do. Knock down some pretty large trees trees and several power lines as well. As of midnight, we had 28,000 customers without power just in Eaton County alone. And it is likely that these power outages are going to last for a few days, as we still have over 200,000 customers across mid-Michigan being left of the dark as of this morning. I will mention that we did see a couple of tornado sirens going off in Eaton County. Tornado sirens can go off for multiple reasons. In this case, it was because of those severe damaging wind gusts that we saw in the area, just indicating that anyone in that county should take shelter, and you can see the reason why. Also, at one point in time, 911 dispatch in Eaton County was overwhelmed with the amount of calls that they were getting in just reporting this kind of damage. So much so that they had to go on social media and tell people to stop calling in unless it was an emergency, an actual emergency here. I do think that we are going to see more storm reports of damages like this, including large trees being down, knocking down power lines, and roofs of shingles off of house being blown around. Even though no tornado warning was issued in Eaton County, you can see some pretty significant signs of some straight line wind damage. Here for you in Dimondale, Kendall Wilson, 6 News.
Well, we continue our coverage because we're hearing just how bad things got as last night's lightning show and heavy winds tore across mid-Michigan. 6 News Chief Meteorologist David Young is here for you now to explain.
Weather ranking across mid-Michigan tonight, in particular from Williamston to Weberville. Right now I'm located around M52 and 96, which was hit extremely hard by severe weather. Got a special guest, Rob Dale with Emergency Management. Rob, a former TV6 meteorologist, so you're really up on the weather side of things. Tell me what was going on this evening as these storms began to make their way through Lansing.
Yeah, so watching the storms approach, they look pretty bad from the get-go. We had the report of the tornado near Grand Rapids, so we were on edge. We were ready and prepared for it. So as soon as the winds looked like they were going to be near tornado strength, even though we didn't have a tornado warning, we sounded the sirens. The Weather Service estimated that 80-mile-per-hour winds were coming, which, to be honest, is stronger than some of the tornadoes we have. So we activated our outdoor warning sirens. Wasn't for a tornado, but the impact is the same. And then a few minutes in, as we saw the storm continuing on, it moved to the Williamston area. We saw signs of a tornado. We activated the sirens just in this part of the county since it had already passed Lansing. So good impacts all around.
Describe to me some of the kind of damage that you've been seeing out surveying tonight.
Well, thankfully we're in a rural area, so there weren't a lot of homes, but the homes were hit. We did see some homes that were damaged. We saw barns that were destroyed, nothing left at all. So thankfully we didn't see it to any houses. We did have some roof collapse on an assisted living center, but everyone was fine inside, so no injuries to anyone that was in a home or business.
Any significant fires from lightning strikes tonight?
Right, we had at least one lightning strike caused fire in Holt. Well, we may have had another one in Lansing Township as well. So if you were out, you saw this an intense amount of lightning tonight, which is, again, fairly rare for us to see. So it's not shocking that not only home fires, but we had a lot of power line, a lot of transformer issues that weren't necessarily wind, but from the lightning itself.
You know, when I was pulling up, they were just flipping this semi back over that was blown over by the wind. Any reports of injuries from the winds flipping cars and semis over tonight?
Yeah, we had multiple cars and trucks flipped over on I-96 between here at M52 and the Williamston Road exit. So some of those did have injuries involved. You know, it's a tough situation. They were in rain. This wasn't like the classic funnel we see with Dorothy. This was embedded inside the storm, so there was really nothing to see. It went from rain to tornado, back to rain, and we did have some injuries on 96 as a result.
Yeah, hoping they're okay. Rob, appreciate that. Stay safe out there tonight. Again, the storm's hitting hardest across central mid-Michigan from Lansing right through Williamston and into Livingston County as well. Here at M52 and 96, meteorologist David Young, 6 News.
And if you are heading out this morning, you will see plenty of downed trees and debris, and that's to blame for knocking down power lines, which has left hundreds of thousands of Michiganders in the dark. Now take a look at your screen right now. As of 6:30 this morning, Consumers Energy said more than 180,000 customers were without power. DTE Energy, which serves part of Ingham and Livingston counties, had nearly 190,000. And back here in Lansing, the Board of Water and Light had almost 30,000 customers in the dark. We would also like to mention that there will be no school today for all of Potterville Public Schools.